Hi there, I'd like to provide you with an update on the residential resale market for the month of January. The GTA housing market is expected to see moderate price growth this year thanks to strong supply levels. Basically, home prices should keep pace with inflation, and we're not expecting any wild jumps in price. Now, if you're thinking about buying, here's some good news. Lower mortgage rates are on the horizon, and that's going to bring more buyers back into the market, especially as we head into the busy spring season. But there's a bit of a catch. Trade disruptions could impact the economy and consumer confidence. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. What's the market expected to do in 2025? Well, sales are projected to hit 76,000, up 12.4% from last year as affordability improves. Average home prices are expected to rise 2.6%, reaching 1.147 million across all home types. Single-family homes will likely see stronger price growth than condos as condo supply remains high. Here's a January market snapshot. Sales were down 7.9% year over year, with 3,847 homes sold last month. New listings surged 48.6%, hitting 12,392, which means more options for buyers. Average home prices in January, 1,040,994, up 1.5% from last year. The MLS Home Price Index was up 0.44% year over year, and on a seasonally adjusted basis, sales actually increased from December 2024. So what does this all mean? More supply, more buyers coming off the sideline, and a balanced market ahead. If you're thinking of making a move this year, let's chat about how you can take advantage of those trends. The economy seems to be taking two steps forward and one step back. The economic outlook for 2025 is a mixed bag. On one hand, lower interest rates are giving us a bit of a boost, but on the other hand, trade tensions and tariff threats are still a concern. Potential Trump 2.0 scenario, we're looking at both opportunities and challenges ahead. So what's Trump's endgame here? It looks like the real play is using illegal immigration and fentanyl as a reason to declare emergency powers. But beyond that, the bigger picture seems to be about reshaping trade and economic policy. His key goals are to shrink the U.S. trade deficit and bring manufacturing and investment back to the U.S., to boost tariff revenue using tariffs to help offset tax cuts, and to renegotiate the United States-Mexico-Canadian agreement. A key moment is coming up on July 1st, 2026, when the agreement is up for review. So potential changes could include stricter rules of origin for the auto industry, blocking Chinese companies from sneaking in through trade loopholes, lowering barriers for agricultural exports, and eliminating digital services taxes. Other Trump 2.0 priorities would be to push NATO members to spend more on defense, raising the minimum from the current 2% of GDP guideline. It all adds up to a mix of economic nationalism, trade protectionism, and geopolitical maneuvering. Let's talk about two big topics making the headlines: illegal immigration to the U.S. and fentanyl seizures at the border. These are key issues shaping policy discussions right now. So let's dive in. Illegal migration to the U.S. So we know that illegal border crossings in the U.S. have been a major focus for policymakers, but what's interesting is the breakdown of where people are coming from. The numbers tell a clear story. The vast majority of illegal entries are happening at the Mexico-US border, but there's also been a sharp decline recently in December 2024. There were 96,048 apprehensions from Mexico, way down from previous years. But here's something new. Canada's share is growing. Well, still much smaller in comparison. 11% of illegal border crossings in 2024 came from Canada. December 2024, that number hit 11,816. Now, why is this happening? Some experts point to looser visa policies in Canada, making it an easier transit point for people trying to reach the U.S. Others say stricter enforcement at the southern border is pushing some migrants to try the northern route instead. Either way, this trend is definitely catching attention. Let's shift gears and look at another major issue: fentanyl trafficking. The data is pretty staggering, but most fentanyl is still coming in through the Mexico-US border. We're talking about seizures in the thousands of pounds every year. By comparison, fentanyl coming from Canada is barely a blip. Even small amounts are a concern. So what does that mean? The southern border is the primary entry point for fentanyl into the US, but even a small uptick in trafficking from Canada is enough to raise red flags because fentanyl is so potent. Policy changes could focus on tightening border checks in both directions, north and south. So some final thoughts. What's the takeaway? Well, illegal immigration is shifting with fewer border crossings from Mexico, but a noticeable increase from Canada. And fentanyl smuggling remains a southern border issue, but there's growing concern about Canada's role as a transit point as well. So expect more policy debates around border security, visa policies, and drug enforcement as these trends continue. So that was your quick market date. Stay tuned for more insights, and I'll catch you in the next one.